Hello everyone. I had a great experience with Formstack and I'd like to share that experience with you. Formstack is an app exchange application that provides solutions such as documents, electronic signature, and forms. I get to use documents and sign on a couple of projects now. And the use case that I'd like to share with you today is this. We would like to generate a document, a user agreement document, when certain criteria happens, when a record is created, when we reach a specific stage, or when we click a button. After the document is generated, it's going to pull the data that we need from the system. Some other data is already static on the document. And then the document goes out to the contact. The contact would then sign the document. After signature, the document is sent back to Salesforce and attached to the contact's record. We also want the system to recognize that the document has been signed by updating a field. And we also want to send reminders if the document has not been signed after a specific amount of time. So let me walk you through this. For starters, once we have Formstack installed in our org, then we can navigate to Documents. And then here we can create a new document. I have already created that, so I'm going to look at it. You can build it online in Document Builder inside Formstack, or you can prepare this document offline and then upload it. So this is the document. This is the user agreement. Just a dummy document. And the first thing here is that there is the contact name. This is a merge field, a tag field, a dollar tag, you name it. We just need to, this is the information that we need to pull from inside Salesforce. We first highlight these with parentheses and a dollar tag, and then later on we will do the mapping to the field inside Salesforce. So I need to collect the contact name, and there are a couple of other things that are hidden in the background here. I'll highlight them. This is the line that we need for the signature. So this is when the document is sent, it's going to prompt the user to sign in this place here, in this area. And this is going to insert the date automatically, the date of the signature. These lines, they are available on Formstack help sites. And then one other thing here is we're asking a question and we would like the answer. And we are adding a line where a box would show up where the contact or the user would then answer the question in here. A couple other pieces of information that we're going to need. One is the record ID. Once we have the document back, we would like to attach it inside Salesforce. So we need to know what the record ID is. And the other thing is to whom are we sending this email? And that's why we are collecting the contact email. Once we have this set up and ready, then we can save the document. After saving the document, the next step would be to set up a mapping. So from the Formstack Mappings tab, we can create a mapping here. I have already created that. We're just going to look at it. In the mapping, we need to specify the object. So I'm selecting the contact object, and we are linking this mapping to which document. We are linking it to KindForce document that we just created a minute ago. And automatically, Formstack would scan the merge fields or the tag fields in here. It will ask you which Salesforce field is this for. So I'm going to select the full name for the contact name, selecting the contact ID for the record ID, selecting the email field for the contact email. Formstack is pulling this information and it's sending this information to these tag fields in the document. So now we've got this information ready. We save this mapping. And then the last step from Formstack side is that the delivery tab. So the delivery, on the delivery tab, we can set up as many deliveries as we want. If we need this document to be sent to multiple people, we can set up a delivery to an email. So the document is sent to the email. And we need this document to be sent to be signed. We need this document to be attached to Salesforce. We need to send it like to Google Drive. We've got multiple places when we can set up multiple deliveries. So the deliveries that I've got here are two: Formstack Sign and Salesforce. Let's look at Salesforce first. After this document is signed, I'd like it to go back to Salesforce and get attached to the contacts record. So here we have save it to Salesforce. On which field it's going to ask for the record ID. We already got the record ID from the mapping, sent to the document, grabbed from the document in this merge field here. And then what's the object API name? That's the contact object. So the Formstack is going to go to the object first, and then go to that record ID on that object, and then attach it on the files section. In the more options here, I'm asking this to update a field. Let's pause for a second. I'll come back to this. So I have created one field on the contact object called visited my website. This is a checkbox, and I'd like this field to be checked after a document has been signed. So back on Formstack, we are using JSON format here to update this field. Believe me, I have no idea how to write JSON format. I'm just following the instructions. So here's the field API name, and this is the value that we need to assign to it. We'd like to update this to true after it goes to Salesforce. Now the question here would be, when is the document going to Salesforce? After we generate it, it's not signed yet. So this is the first state, it's not signed. And then after it is signed, this is the second state. So not signed and signed. Which brings us to Formstack Sign. On Formstack Sign, we are sending this with this subject to this person's contact name. We're pulling the contact name from the document, and the document is pulling it again from the mapping. And we are using this email, the contact email, that's also from the document from the mapping. And in the settings here, there is this option, delay other deliveries until sign-in is complete. Send to Salesforce record ID. That's the other delivery that we have in place here. Send to Salesforce, delay it until the signing is complete, meaning it's going to take the signed document, not the document that's not signed yet. So the first thing is going to happen after we generate this, it's going to be signed. After that, the delivery is going to happen. Now, the last piece here would be a flow. Now, in the flow, we will need to do only one thing. Just disregard everything else on the screen for now. We just need to do only one thing. We need to have an action element. Disregard this apex action. Believe me, we are not going to write any apex. I don't have any idea how to write apex. In the action element, under type, from apex action, you will find it here, generate document. Generate document. Once we click that, it's going to ask us for two things, record ID and mapping ID. In order to make the mapping ID dynamic, so one thing we can do is just hard code the mapping here. Where's the mapping? So we've got the mapping ID here. I can just hard code this here, but this is not an efficient way of doing this. Instead, we need it to be dynamic. In case we move this flow between one org and another, the record ID is going to change. So I'm using this get element here to grab the, to find the Formstack mapping object, get a record that has the name kind force, and then just get me the ID. Once we have the ID, we're going to put the ID of this mapping under here, web merge mapping ID. Web merge is the same as Formstack. I don't remember exactly. It's either Formstack renamed it or the acquired web merge. I'm not sure. And then the second thing we need here is the Salesforce record ID, and that's the record that started this flow. The way I'm setting this up is that whenever a contact is created, this flow is going to run. You can set this up differently whenever an opportunity reaches a specific stage or whenever anything else happens. So when a contact is created, get the mapping ID and then generate the document. Once the document is called, is generated, it's going to run the delivery. It's going to go to Formstack Sign. After it is signed, it's going to be delivered to Salesforce. Another thing I'm doing here, I'm setting two scheduled paths. One of them is run after 1 week. Another one is running after 2 weeks. I'm setting this to be sent after 1 minute for the purposes of this testing and video, but then you can change this to 7 days instead. After 1 week and after 2 weeks, we're going to check the field called visited my website to see if it has been changed to true or not. If it has been changed to true, that's fine. It has been signed. We're good. We don't need to do anything else. But if it has not been checked yet, it means the document has not been signed yet. It means we need to send a reminder to sign the document, and we are sending that reminder with the action element here. Now, let's look at that in action. Go ahead and create a new contact. And the email would be my email, and save. Duplicate. Okay, no problem. 2 things here. The first thing is that in the files section, we've got nothing for now. And then on the details tab, we've got visited my website, which is unchecked. This is the record ID here for just reference, AAF. Now we received an email here. It's asking me to sign. Just review and sign. Clicking that, it's going to bring up the document that's ready to be signed. The date has been inserted automatically. The name has been pulled automatically. And it's asking us to visit my website, kindforce.com. And then there's the signature. And then there is the question that we need to answer. So if I click here, I can draw, or I can just allow it to draw it automatically. I've got the signature. Now I need to type something here. And then I'll click next and submit document. Now, what we should expect now after submitting document is that on this record, 2 things should happen. Visited my website should be checked, and related should have a file. Related files section should have a file. So we've got the file here. Let's look at it. It got the name, the signature, the date, and the answer to the question. Of course, you can reformat this and rearrange it in whatever manner you want. And then under details, we've got visited my website has been checked automatically. And this is another thing that you can use actually this field to trigger other automations. Once this is checked with a flow, you can trigger it to do something else. Another thing would be an email would come through with the signed document now. So after I sign, it's going to send me the signed copy on the email. And if this has not been signed, if it has not been checked, then reminder emails like this would be sent. Hi, you have not signed the document yet. Please go ahead and check and sign. So this is going to be sent. I have already used the limits of the org, so I'm unable to show you this now. It's a developer free org, but then in a standard org, we'd be able to do that. Reminder emails will go out just fine. So this is Formstack and Flow. Formstack plus Flow equals magic. And that's it for today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.